Hello, 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 hello. John Mason, how is everybody? Hope you're all well. Keeping warm during this deep freeze. In Philadelphia, it's going to warm up to the nice tropical 30s and 40s. Boy, did our president do us proud or what? He, our, our alleged president put out a Truth Social message. Not truth, and not very social. Uh, uh, Talking about his favorite gripe that the election was stolen from him in Georgia in 2020. And then at the end of the video, he has this other video clip of Barack and Michelle Obama as monkeys in a jungle. With the old song, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. You remember that one? Uh, he Donald Trump is a super racist. Don't let them fool you. He, uh, Racism is embedded in the core, in his core. It's his personal attitude. In the early 70s, uh, his father's company was charged by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development for racially discriminating against African American people in their apartment, in the company's apartments during the Nixon administration. That's how bad they were. And and Trump, you remember the time when in 2020, in 2015, he descended down the golden escalator, like from my high, and and he uh, he proclaimed he slandered Mexicans, Mexican descended people, called them rapists, murderers, drug dealers. I told my good people. And he screamed about building this big, beautiful border wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. Remember that? Turns out our tax money paid for the damn thing. And Steve Bannon had this neat little scam of soliciting private contributions uh, to build the wall, but it paid for his lavish lifestyle. And more recently, even more recently, the National Governors Conference, National Governors Association, was going to is planning to have dinner with the president, and they're all invited except Wes Moore of Maryland, who happens to be African American. It wasn't an oversight. Everything that Trump is doing is furthering his own personal racist agenda. You can see it in recruitment plans for ICE online and in social media. All blatant appeals to racism. And, and and don't forget, how can we forget? We must never forget the rampage on January 6th when Trump whipped up this mob of maniacs to stampede all over the Capitol to kill the first senator they see. All there, the core of it was the nation's most notorious racist organizations. I remember one genius wore this T-shirt that said Camp Auschwitz, and another with the message 6 million wasn't enough. See, racism doesn't discriminate. If one group is attacked, none of the other groups are safe. And and his and also his treatment about Black History Month, the Martin Luther King holiday, and Juneteenth. Those 2 days, the Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth, there's visitors to national parks were allowed to come in free. But Trump uh, ended that practice, and they could come free on his birthday. This is what dictators do throughout the years. Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, Saddam Hussein, all of them. They try to build monuments to his glory and demonize some internal other, denying that they're really part of the nation, that they're not part of the fabric of society. But we see in Minnesota the effect of millions and thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe, and millions of Americans banding together to look out for one another. So, let's keep at it. This wretched White House thing isn't going to celebrate Black History Month, but we will. We must. We must educate ourselves about the African American experience to counteract the lies and slanders that have been heaped upon African American people. So, let's do it. Let's organize ourselves to educate, organize, educate, communicate. Those are the three words to use for bringing people together and beating this regime. We got this. Okay, now advertisements. All this work I do on my media is definitely work. I pay money to get my my YouTube channel and my blog and my podcast and my poetry and my fiction up on these various platforms. It costs money. I need to be compensated for my work and also raise it to a higher level. Take it further and further. So, please get on my website, johnomason.com, and click either the PayPal button or the Buy Me a Coffee button and see what you can give. I would greatly appreciate it, so I can keep this work going. And also, my two novels, Soldier of the Cross and the sequel, The Ascension of David Lucas, are available on KDP Amazon. They're combined there the story of David Lucas, who, as a young man in the early 60s, is a drunk and a whore chaser and a school bully, gets in trouble in the army, comes out of the army a fanatical, born-again Christian, wanting to be a manly man for Jesus, and becoming one of America's top TV evangelists. But what does he do along the way? And what does he do when he reaches the top? Soldier of the Cross and the Ascension of David Lucas on KDP Amazon. And also, Hemperific is a lovely little CBD product store located on Snyder Avenue near 15th Street in South Philadelphia. There you will find some of the finest cannabis-infused products. Gummies and flour and drinks and teas and hand sanitizer and lip balm and dog treats. Yeah, dog treats. Please look them up. HemperificLLC.com. And also, my beloved career and business coach, Michelle Snow. Michelle is excellent in helping you develop your professional career or small business. Let you know what you're doing right, where you need work, and help you network with other up-and-coming entrepreneurs and professionals. Please look her up. GrowWithSnow.com. Okay. Like I said, since our White House is contaminated with this racist dillweed, I can think of worse things to say about them, but not now. We'll not acknowledge African American History Month. We will. I read and the histories of other put upon groups in this country, and the entirety of our history. We must learn them and not let anybody get in our way. Okay, thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye.